Hi everybody and welcome back to the Unreal Engine 5 full game tutorial series for absolute beginners. This is video 13 for our tiny game, and in our last video we stopped at this point and we continue from here. This node here is actually our save, which we have created before. This looks not the same because they used here a built-in trick, which means you can check if this save variable is set. And how you can check this, right click, and here you can see on the bottom there is convert to a validate get, and validate get means just check if we can use that. So when I click this one, you can see I can get here is valid, means yes, this one is set, you can use it, and is not valid, then you have other options. And like I said before, let's go back to our function. I opened this one up. Here we created this save file. Right here is our data, this spawn point actor. This one we won't use, and when I go back now to the event graph, and they won't use that, but before they won't use that, they check this with this get if this is set, and if yes, that's why they followed this line. This save data here on top is usable. This one is usable. If it's not usable, then nothing happens. But as a beginner, I would advise you that you write here a print, and then you write here also where the arrow occurs. For let's say this is our BP, and then this is just a place, okay, this one, and then where the arrow is, in this case the arrow is our event begin play. You can write it how much you want. Event, okay, let's write here event begin play, and then you can write here also a little bit more like so, save. And this one here is very good for beginners because if something happens, then you have a print message on the screen, or you can put this also later in the log. And probably you should also change here the duration about 10 or 20 so that it stays a lot on the main screen, so you can read this arrow message. Okay, our save file, which we just checked, contains this variable here, spawn point, and we have to get this from this here. How we get this? Here is the save. You drag this out. Now you write spawn point, get spawn point, and you can see this one is again the same like this. The difference is they made here again a check. They want to check this, and right click again, convert to validate get, and you can see it is the same thing like here. And if it's valid, it will continue here, and if it's not valid, it will do nothing. But as a beginner, like I said, write here a print string or log string so that you can find an error and then check this later in debug. But let's say it is valid, we can use this output here, and we have to figure out what they make here. But to do this a little bit in a better way, we style this. So let's put this one here on top, and let's put this one here so we can see every step a little bit better. So what is happening here? And a general rule, when you are connecting these blueprints, you should see every line clearly, which means so you are not blocked with readability. And we can see this now here from this point. We are going to this one, which is a get actor transform, and this one is a built-in node again. And actor transform means every actor, this type actor, has a transform. What is a transform? A transform is, for example, a position here in the world. For example, I click this one, whatever this one is, I go to the details panel, and you can see here the transform section. So we won't get this transform section. In this transform section we can get later the location. It is here. It has a rotation, so it points in this or that direction, and we have the scale, how big or small it is, and so on. And this one, when we go back to this one, it is exactly getting us this part here, so we can read it or manipulate it later. And then you can see this also here in the output. We have here the location, the rotation, and the scale. The scale is not used because they say I don't need the scale right now. I'm only interested in the location or in the rotation. Let's start here with the location. So it goes here, and from here is valid. It goes here to the node set actor location and rotation. You see it is just setting two values. That's why they are using just here two things. So we can see our save value comes from here, right? And this is our save value, which is later here. And then we take from our save value the location and put in. Okay, I set the new location here, and this save rotation, I set it here. But the question is where I set this. This one is just a built-in node, and it sets for an actor. And the target here it says where we set this. And here we realize some nodes have not this white line because till now we all time just followed here these lines, and some nodes here like this one and this one, they have no white lines, and they are also not connected here with a white line on top, because the white line here on top is the main call, and all the other things what you see here are options. So when we read here this node, we read it most time this way. The white line says set actor location and rotation. This is the white line. This is the main thing what it will do, and all the other things we are doing as options. It says then I need to set the actor and rotation. I need the location. Okay, I give you the option here, I put it in. And it says here I need also the rotation. Okay, I give you the option and put this one in the new. It says here also, and not here in this text, but it says I need also a target where I should save now your saved data, and this one will come from here. And sometimes you'll see other options like this both here, which are just not used. But what is the target here? In short, it is actually our player character. So the character when I start this game and I'm walking here, let's start here the game. So my character is now walking, right? This is our target actor, and my character, we can see here in the world settings, here's my blueprint character. I can open this one up, I can double click on this one, I can open up this one and watch here on the right side the details panel. You can see my character has also transformed. I can set the location and rotation, of course scale also, but we are using only these two things here in our data to set the new position where we want spawn. And there are different ways to get this first person character, and the way they get it is just with the node get player controller. This is again a built-in function. We don't need here a connection. Of course you can provide one, but the player index 0 is all time in a single player the first character, in our case our first person character here. You are just going with the return value. This is the player controller. They go here down and call the get controlled pawn. This is our first person character, and then they are connecting this one here. In other words, they say save the new location and rotation to our character location and rotation exactly here. When we start the game, our character will start now with this new location and rotation. After we finish setting up this node, we go to the last node, which set here set control rotation, again a built-in rotation, and you can see target is controller, and the controller means here our player controller. That's why the player controller class is very important, and the player controller class is moving our character. Again, when I start this one here, when I move, the player controller is actually moving our character. And when we go back here again target our controller. Okay, and this one is an option. We have to set the new rotation, so the controller can set also the rotation. Again, we get the rotation from here, and you can see we can get here more lines out and then connect this one here. Okay, and with that we finished actually the first part of the load save system. This one we skip the sequence. Normally after finishing this one here, we'll jump here back to the sequence and execute the second line, but like I said, this is just a widget creation which we talk later. We are only interested in the load save system, but we have to talk about this one. This on the bottom is calling the new save point. Important note is here, all that what we just talked about here is happening one time, and when the game mode is set up. So with other words, when I start the game mode will check one time if this load game exists, and if yes, it loads, if not. So we need another way to call the load save system during the gameplay, and we do this with displaced actors here, this one here, so that when our character is walking into one of this collision box, it can be saved at this point. When I walk here, it can be saved here. And this one, we are doing this in our game mode with this little thing here. This one here, we have here a new start point. Careful, this is not a begin play. This one will be called automatically. This one here is a custom event. You can read this. It's a custom event, which means the programmer. So we have created this one, and this one will be not called automatically. We have to call this ourselves during gameplay anyhow. But first let's create a custom event. Again, right click here, you write here custom event, and here it says add event, add custom event. Then you just name it what you like, and let's write here just test. And we have already created one, and then we follow the same rules like the other ones. Here is our start point of our custom event, and then we execute the code from here. And when I click here on the custom event here, you can see we have here something like another option. And when we go to the details panel, we can see this is an input option, which means we can provide something here which we pass along when we call this custom event. But to pass this along, this must be also set. Later we will see how we set this one. Right now we have just to know it is just a variable, this input. It has the name spawn point and it has the type actor, again something which we can place here in the world. And what we want to do now here, if this is called, then we have here this variable actor anyhow. We will talk about this in a moment. And this actor we want saved in our save data. And how we do this? First of all, we drag out this actor, and then we have here created before this variable save. We drag this one out, get this one, and then but this save here, which you see is of type BP save, and this is not that same like our type actor, so they are not the same. So we have to go into the save here, because save is we can go into BP actor, our BP save game data, and call this one here, and this one is actor. And how we do this, I drag this out and call here, what was the name again? That was here spawn point. Okay, spawn point, get spawn point. And this spawn point here is now the same like this one, and we can set this together. Actually, I have made here a get, so we don't need a get, we need a set. So again, spawn point, you can see we have here two options. In this case, I have to select set. You connect this one here, just this one, and it will save whatever this point is in this world to our variable here into save. So, and then we go to the next node, which is just asynchronous save game to slot. To everything what we have now will save to the slot save in our hard drive. And again, we provide what we want saved. We have everything saved in this variable save. That's why we connected here. And actually we have here two options to save the game to slot. There is another option, it's called save game to slot, this one here. And you can see the difference is here just the word asynchronously, and the difference is this one here, this here will not freeze your game. This one will freeze your game, because this one is loading or saving behind the scene, and after load or save you can use here, for example, this complete output. Here you have this not, you have just one output here. So the only missing part is now how we call this one here and assign this variable here spawn point, which we can then save here. And there are different ways to set this up, and they set up it with an actor. For example, if I click this one here, you can see it says here BP spawn point, and if I go here to edit and go here on top, parent class is actor, right? And when we go back to this one, and the variable here, the input, you can see this is an actor, this expects this one here. But now let's see how this one is called from this BP spawn point, which I just opened up here. And in this actor, we have here, for example, the viewport, and in the viewport we can see which components we have here. When you go to the component section, we have here a capsule component, arrow component, a sphere component. Careful, sometimes you don't see them, so you have to go here to details panel, you write visibility or vis, and find here the section rendering visible, and then you have to check this. Normally they are all time active, but in this project it was not active. I had to set up this manually active. Then you see this, and the important one is the sphere. This is a sphere collision, and the sphere collision, when we go here down after we erase this one here, we have here options, events, and one of them is on component begin overlap, which is our character can now run into the sphere. We overlapping one of these lines here, then this sphere is registering yeah, whatever, this our character, and when you click on this one here, this node will pop up. This node here will then say, okay, I found anything. I have to check if this is the character because it can overlap with another object as well. That's why we have here down other options, and then it will continue to register this one. Okay, and after they registered our character here in our world, for example, I ran here in this actor here says, hey, our character is here. We saved now this position for the new start position. And how does it do it? So this actor here will activate this sphere collision, and this sphere collision here, this node here, will try now activate our custom event which we created here in the game mode. But we have here a problem. It is in the game mode and it is not here in our actor. You can see it is not here, so we have to find a way. Of course there are different ways, but one simple way is here. What they use is just a cast. First of all, they get the game mode, which is a built-in node. This is the game mode, which is the general game mode, not our specific game mode which we have assigned here. So in other words, we have to get from the general game mode to our specific one, and they do this all time with a cast, or better later with interfaces, so we can avoid cast. But in this case they use a cast, and then we write here BP, the thing what we have created. Now we have covered this one. Okay, and after we have now our specific game mode with this cast, we can call everything within our game mode which we have here. For example, I could call this variables here. I can call also the function here, this normal function, or this event here, this update spawn point. And actually we are interested in calling update spawn point. We won't call this one, and we have just to provide this actor now here. And when I go back and go here and write now update, because now this option is available because it is our special template, I have just to provide this one. And there is a very easy trick. You can write here self. Self means just a reference to the self, which means just that what you read here. And this here, when we created this BP spawn point, we have created it as an actor. Right click, we made this one a blueprint. We have created this as an actor here, and it was created like that one. And when I hover my mouse over it, you can also see it that it is an actor on top, not the parent class and native parent class. The top it says actor, and we can delete this one here. But here is our BP spawn point. I hover my mouse over it, it is an actor. So this self here is an actor. This type here is expecting an actor. I can see this again here, how I defined it here. I need an actor. That's the way how we call this spawn point here. We provide here the actor, which is ourself, and the actor means all time, and that's very important. Actor means all time. We have a position, location, something like in location to also transform. That's why we can get from here. And with that said, I think I covered the most basics of this load save system. And again, this part we don't need, which is just a widget creation. And if you understand everything till here, that's good. If not, don't worry, just research everything here again with the AI here or internet. And in the next video, I think I continue again with the load save system, but this time we integrate the game instance here. It's a little bit more advanced, but I hope after you understand this one, the other one will be also not too difficult to understand. Okay, with that said, I stop this video, and if you have any questions like all time, write in the comment section. See you next video. Bye and good luck.